A lot of us are pursuing purpose, and a lot of us want to have our own businesses one day. We want to start our own companies, and we're just seeing, where the money reside, right? And we're just seeing all these big things, but like, think about the person that you would want to hire for your own company. Like, would you hire you? Like, where you are currently right now, would you hire you? So, hey guys, what's up? It's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video here on Chats with Michelle. What's up, guys? How's it going? So in today's video, we are going to be talking about some different ways that you can possibly cope with a job that you, I don't know, hate is a very strong word. So maybe you don't necessarily hate the job. Okay, I know the best way to put it. You don't necessarily hate the job, but you're very unfulfilled. However, you know that in this season, this is where God has you. So you know that you were created for more. You know there's a bigger vision, a bigger purpose to your life. However, you know right now is not necessarily the time to shift and move. You know eventually it's coming, and maybe sooner than later. However, you have to cope with where you are and make the best of where you are now. So if that makes sense, if you can kind of feel what I'm saying and you're understanding what I'm saying, then this video is for you. So as you guys know, here on this channel, we focus on navigating adulthood and pursuing purpose. And this is a super like navigating adulthood, pursuing purpose-esque type of topic, because it's like, a lot of us, especially young adults, we are in this weird season in life, right? Where it's like some of us just finished college, or maybe you didn't necessarily go to college, but you're in your career, or like you're pursuing your purpose right now, whatever passion that is, and you're not necessarily where you want to be, but you're doing what you got to do so that you're doing what you got to do now so that later you can do what you really want to do. So you're just in this like, sacrificial type season where it's like, you're working, you're putting in the work. However, you're super unfulfilled and you're just like, like I could slap somebody tomorrow, right? But you just know it's not time for you to, like I said, to shift, to pivot. And I just wanted to go ahead and just give some advice and some things that I've done in my own personal life. As you guys know, I've talked about the 6 pillars that I've created that really help guide navigating adulthood and pursuing purpose. And if you're unfamiliar with those, I'll make sure to write them out in the description box below. And I'll also link a video that I created explaining those 6 different pillars. And I found that those pillars were very important in this time, in this journey. However, the pillar that I'm really going to touch on today is pillar number 2, which is the work ethic pillar. And I feel like I talk about this pillar a lot, and that's because that's the pillar that I'm on and I'm constantly struggling with, is the work ethic pillar. I can definitely relate to feeling like, man, I feel like I was created for more. I know I was created for more. However, I just feel like, you feel stuck sometimes, right? You just feel like there just has to be, like how do I shake this? And also feeling like, but it's not necessarily time for me to make that next move yet. I know there's bigger, there's more, but it's not time yet. So how do I cope in this season? And so that's the reason why I'm so passionate about pillar number 2, which is the work pillar, because I feel like we should always give 100%. Even if it's not just for ourselves. I know a lot of us want to be entrepreneurs. We have these big dreams, these big goals, these big visions. Even my phrase for this year is to commit to the vision, because vision clarifies purpose. However, sometimes in pursuing purpose, we have to commit to someone else's vision, someone else's purpose, right? So that, and not only are we committing to it, we should commit to 100%, because in return, when we're pursuing our purpose to the big capacity, we will want, the people that we bring onto our team to commit to us 100%. So that's why I talk about it so much and I'm so passionate about it, because honestly, that's the season I'm in now. I'm not in a bad place. I work for really great people. However, I just feel like I'm bigger, there's more to this, but in the same event, it's not time yet. And I don't want to like move too quickly. So I feel like this is a super long introduction just to pretty much say, I want to go ahead and share some advice and some tips how that helps me and how it can possibly help you just make work life a little bit smoother and a lot less painful. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. The first tip I would say is to write down all of the things that going to work provides for you. So I don't even know if that's grammarly correct, but for example, so what is the benefit, right, of you going to work? So this is super practical, guys. So I mean, literally, you might want to sit down and write down your bills. So in my example that I have here, I wrote down my different bills. I put down, my car insurance, my health insurance. I put down, groceries. Like I wrote down very practical things of like, listen, these are the things that I'm responsible for each and every month on these different days of the month, and I even have them written down to like the dates that they come out. So on those days where I'm feeling frustrated and I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm reminded that, girl, we got bills. And I know that might sound like silly or crazy, or like it just is what it is. Like, I have bills to pay, and I'm reminded, okay, yeah, like maybe I could make it another week, you know, because I have bills to pay. Tip number 2 would be to focus on a goal. So there's some type of debt that you have, maybe like a credit card bill or a car payment bill or something like that, or a car loan. Take that big debt that you have and really focus on that. Focus on maybe if you can working overtime, or how you can make extra money while you're at work. So really take your energy and focus on that debt that you have that you're trying to knock down as soon as possible. That's actually one of the 6 pillars that I focus on, is finances. At this age, a lot of us are really just creating our foundation. Some of us have been super blessed and have really amazing, great careers or businesses and things that we've started. And some of us are really just getting our footing, getting our things together, getting our, our affairs in order, right? So just really focus on, maybe there's a big debt that you have that you're like, yo, I want to like knock this down. And that will really motivate you when you're at work. You're like, yo, like I'm trying to make this money. Or it can be like maybe just like a goal for like maybe a trip or something that you want to do, and you can just really, that will really like encourage you and give you like the the drive to keep going and just like doing your best. I mean, honestly guys, obviously goals eventually end, but it can be something that can kind of give you momentum in the moment, I would think. Tip number 3 would be to create a schedule when you're at work. So basically what I mean by that is, how can you do your work at your job the most efficiently and effectively, so that way you're not just feeling maybe idle or all over the place or just cluttered, etc. So I'll give you an example with me. So basically at my job, I have about maybe 8 to 10 tasks that I must do every single day, and I pretty much just like list them out, and I'm making sure that I'm staying on top of them. And it just helps my day go a lot more organized and a lot more smoothly, but also that nothing is falling to the wayside. I'm always on top of everything. So obviously everyone's job is different and we're not all doing the same exact thing. However, pretty much this tip is pretty much just saying to you, how can you make your job move a lot more smoother, efficiently, more just effectively for yourself? A lot of times, we really, really hate where we're at, or we're just so frustrated where we're at, because it's like, we're also just not being efficient where we're at either. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you do your job better? Like, how can you do it better? I find it that when me having this task list of what to do every single day, and I'm always just on top of everything, it just makes my day go by smooth. It just makes my day go by a lot smoother, and I just feel better, and I just feel like I'm always being productive. And yeah, these things are just always done in that way too. Like if your boss comes to you or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, no, I did that. Or no, I haven't got to that yet, but that's like number 4 or 5 on my list. Don't worry, I'll get to it. So just, how can you make your job more efficient? Tip number 4 would be, is it time for a position change? Like, have you been doing what you've been doing for so long, and maybe it's time for you to shift and move to the next position? Do you need to go to another department? Like, are you just complaining because you're settling and you're making yourself settle? Like, are you just sitting in a spot where it's time for you to go, but you don't want to leave and you're just sitting here? Like, I heard this example, like top of this year, I had a training, and the woman who was training us, she said there's 2 types of people in a company. Well, she said there's 3. Well, she said there's 3 types of people in a company. There is the water cooler people, the people in the middle, and the cheerleaders. So the water cooler people are the people who, they gather by the water cooler. This is obviously like an old school type metaphor or whatever, because I don't think jobs really have water coolers like that anymore. But basically there's the people who gather around the water cooler, or I guess you'll say like by the printer, the printing station, and they just talk crap all day about the job and how they can't stand it. And they talk about this person, that person. All they do is just gossip, and they just nag, and they just complain, and they just talk crap all day, right? And then you have the people in the middle who, that might be you right now, that might be me. It's like, you don't hate it, you don't love it, you're not gonna be there forever, you're not gonna retire, but you're doing what you gotta do and you do your job well. And then you have the cheerleaders who love what they do, they love the company, they're gonna put the company on their back, they're the flag carriers, and they're just gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So you wanna either be, and what the lady was saying in the training, you want to be the cheerleader in a company, right? And even in your own company, like I said, a lot of us are pursuing purpose, and a lot of us want to have our own businesses one day. We want to start our own companies, and we're just seeing, you know, where the money reside, right? And we're just seeing all these big things, but like, think about the person that you would want to hire for your own company. Like, would you hire you? Like, where you are currently right now, would you hire you? So think about that. So you don't ever want to be the water cooler person. So could it be that maybe it's time for you to transition? Like, if you're saying, okay, well, I know there's more for me, I know there's more for my life, but I don't feel like right now is the time for me to like move and leave, not because I'm afraid, but just because you know in your spirit it's not time. Could it be that you just need to move? Like, should you move? You know what I'm saying? Should you go to another position? Should you go to another department? A lot of companies, you can go on their like company website, you can see where they're hiring. Should you go to another department? Should you go to another, like literally another location, another branch? You know what I mean? Like, is it time for you to grow? Have you outgrown where you are? Talk to your boss. Say, hey, like, is there something else that I can do? Or, you know, are you hiring for different things? Like, you'll be surprised. You might be fulfilled in another role, but you're just frustrated because you've been doing the same thing for like 2-3 years. Like, maybe it's time for you to do something different. And suggestion number 5 is pretty much what I mentioned in the beginning, and that is it just time for you to go? Like, is it just time for you to go? Are you really just being afraid? Should you leave? Should you start that business? Should you start that company? Should you work for another company? Is it really in your spirit that you feel like, no, I'm supposed to be here? Or are you just afraid to just take the next step or try or change the trajectory of your career path that you've been on? Like, if you've been working, I don't know, in the finance industry, you guys know that's something that, you know, an industry that I've worked in for some time. You know, is it time for you to, I don't know, go work in the educational field? Or should you go work in the entertainment business? Or should you go, I don't know, like I said, start your own business? Like, maybe it's just really time for you to go, you know? And I mean that in the nicest way possible, but in the most honest way possible. Maybe you need to hear somebody else say it. Could it just be time for you to go? So anyways, guys, that was pretty much the 5 suggestions that I have on how you can cope with a job that you may hate, or you're just feeling really unfulfilled in right now, that can possibly help you, you know, make it a little bit longer, help you cope with it a little bit longer, help you to just make it a lot less painful. Like I said, I hope that you were able to take something from these different suggestions, these different advice or tips that I gave you today. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I don't say that often. Also follow me on Instagram if you're not following me already. And I will see you guys in my next video here on Chats with Michelle. Bye, guys.